Hello everybody and welcome to the match review for the Atlanta United versus Toronto FC game, which kicked off this past Wednesday at Mercedes Benz Stadium. Of course, as we know now, Atlanta United running out 2-0 winners in a game that could have easily been more. Let's be honest. Toronto FC had some opportunities. Didn't create a lot in the final third, and then were ultimately just overrun by Atlanta. Let's get into the team sheets. First of all, we didn't have a preview show this week. I apologize for that, but I did tweet out the team sheets as we thought they would line up. We'll start with the home side Atlanta, where, as we predicted, Breck Shea came in for Michael Parkhurst at left back. Tito Villalba came in for Ezekiel Barco, who was away on national team duty. So Atlanta going with just the one forced change, the one discretionary change, obviously the Barco change coming by necessity, despite playing a day later than Toronto FC. So they played Sporting Kansas City on the Sunday, and then now we're at home against TFC midweek, and made just the one discretionary change. On the Toronto FC side, and again we posted our team, which was completely blown out of the water when the team sheet came out. Vanny opted for 7 changes. Bit surprised, I'll get into that in just a minute, but 7 changes. So I'll start at the back with Bono, who came in for Westberg. Richie Laria came in at right back. Simon kept his place, but Zavaleta came in for Mavinga. Morgan at left back. Liam Fraser came into the side. I had him in the team sheet against Orlando. I thought maybe that's where they would deploy him. In the first game, it made more sense to me, but ultimately they decided to deploy him in the Atlanta game. And then Jay Chapman coming in for Jonathan Osorio, and Akinola up front for Jordan Hamilton. So lots of changes on the TFC side. And to be quite honest, it showed. It really did. They lacked any sort of cohesion in their attack. The players that were playing looked unfamiliar with each other, and they really didn't create too much when they were in possession. Atlanta United on the other side, Pity Martinez, absolutely dominant. They got in behind us. They used their lining up in their 4-2-3-1 formation. Used Tito really well on that left hand side in place of Barco. So I watching this game, when I saw the team sheet, ultimately I wasn't surprised. I was a bit disappointed in the amount of changes that Vanny made, to be fair. I thought that in the Orlando game, we saw just the one change from the week before. And my thinking here is, if you're going to make that volume of changes for this game, why didn't you just disperse those changes amongst the two games? Because I think that even with, if you look at maybe Liam Fraser in place of a Delgado against Orlando, and say a Jay Chapman who's been in the side in place of Jonathan Osorio, and then maybe a Jordan Hamilton. Maybe you rest Jordan Hamilton against Orlando and you bring in Ayo Akinola. So you've made 3 changes, maybe 4 changes to the side that played against Portland. And then you bring back Jordan Hamilton Jonathan Osorio and Marky Delgado in the Atlanta game, and now you're in a better position to take something from that game. So, I didn't understand it. I don't think a lot of people understood it. I think that, well, to be fair, let maybe it's half and half. You'd say that maybe half of the TFC Nation is sort of on board with the changes. And I get the logic that, look, we took the result against Orlando. If all of a sudden you're rotating your squad equally between the two games, maybe you're set up in a better position to get a draw in each of the games. But I just think that, there was an opportunity to take maybe 4 points from these two games with the way that I know Orlando has recently found some form, and certainly Atlanta had found form coming into this game, but they are both two teams that have struggled at times this season. And I get that you're on the road, but you're also, TFC was waiting for Atlanta after the SKC game, and I just felt that it was really unnecessary. To me, it reeked of what was occurring last season at the start of the season, where we were just completely capitulating in certain games, and it was just really disappointing. So, Leah, and the other thing is, what I don't understand is, if you're going to make that volume of changes, why is Pozuelo playing? He's on turf. He just played in sweltering 90 minutes against Orlando, just finished playing in the Belgian league. So why, if you're going to make that volume of changes, why? And really, when you look at the team sheet, like I said, when it came out, a lot of people looked at it like, we're not looking to take anything from this game. So why play your best player and put him through it when in this tough stretch, when it's likely that he's now going to suit up against Philadelphia and also DC United at home? I thought I'm high on Liam Fraser. I think he's a terrific player. I think he holds the ball well. I haven't seen his pass completion numbers from this game, but I know in the past his pass completion numbers are fairly high. I think he's a really good player, and I'm happy that he played. But again, he's a player that I would have liked to see play in the game prior against Orlando, and surrounded by less changes and coming into a side that was maybe more cohesive. Now you're slotting in just, like I said, 3 or 4 changes as opposed to the 7 that you're now dropping some of these players into that haven't played. Morgan, Fraser, Akinola in limited minutes. Jordan Hamilton's been getting most of the starts since Altidor's been out. Again, Richie Laria, Oro's your first right back. So now you're asking these players to come in and do a job for you in a completely different team for everybody. I also felt bad for Alex Bono, to be honest. It's a player that's been dropped, and all of a sudden, here you are bringing him into a game against a team that has scoring goals now, has won 3 of the last 4, is getting at people. They're really starting to figure things out from an attacking sense, which we saw. And so now all of a sudden you're dropping them into this game with those 7 changes. And it was on Twitter today that from the channel that I thought that if there wasn't a clear indication that Westberg is the number 1 after this game, I think it's pretty clear that it is now. They rested Westberg. They put Bono into a situation where he wasn't set up for success. Although I thought he did quite well. I thought he was more confident coming out of the box. I thought that obviously his distributions is an issue, but for the goals, the first goal was just a free kick that was probably rightly awarded, that he did well to get his feet across and palm it away, and TFC were just slow to react to it. Obviously, the second goal resulted with Atlanta getting forward, getting in on a 2v1 situation essentially, and just a squared pass for the finish. So Bono not at fault at all on any of the goals, but when I saw the team that was in front of him and with the issues that he's been having with distribution and confidence and communication, I really feared for him in this game, and I thought that if this gets out of hand, that it's really not the best man management in my opinion to put him into that situation. But look, at the end of the day, there's going to be two sides to every camp. And again, some people, like I said on Twitter, were completely for the changes. As I said, I thought the side lacked cohesiveness, and in those final stages where we really needed, even when we were in possession, I felt that players kind of looked a bit confused. There was more sideways and backwards passes than we've seen in the past. Even when TFC at one point in the first half were dominating possession. So all in all, just not a great performance, but I would put it down to the team. Obviously, defensively, we were completely undone, and it just speaks to, I guess, if you're going to make that many changes, to the lack of depth. But again, there's not too many teams in MLS that could make 7 changes and be competitive in a game. And so I think that was my biggest takeaway from this game. We roll on to Philadelphia, and hopefully the boys respond, and hopefully we pick up 3 points. We'll see you soon with the Philadelphia Union preview show and the DC United preview show. Lots coming up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon.